Shalom and good day all. This is Tahil29 back again for another anime review, and in this anime review I'll be covering season 3 of Free Dive to the Future. And what I'll do first is I'll cover the synopsis of each episode, which there were 12 episodes. And I must point out, probably by the time that this video is done, I have sort of realized that there are some things and episodes and that I have sort of missed in relation to this series. So I'll probably be working on getting them done separately in different videos. And I do look forward to getting the reviews done in relation to this series. So now it's time to begin on the first episode for season 3, Dive to the Future, to which it's called A Sprouting Dive Start, to which Haruka has entered Hidaka University, where he's now training at a swim club to prepare to move towards his goal. And whilst we're in this particular episode, we do notice that Haruka notices in a glance someone that he sees in connection to his past, and we do eventually learn who that person is, and his name is Akuya. And we also learn that the character of Akuya has a brother who also participates in swimming as well. That is also shown a little bit later in later episodes. Now, moving into episode 2, it's called A Promise on a Shooting Star, to which we actually get a little bit more in regards to Haru and also his connection to Ikuya. And one of the things that Ikuya actually made a wish upon a star. And one of the wishes that he had upon a star was actually to participate side by side and win against the character of Haru, to which we do get to see a little bit take place further on. Whilst in this, the synopsis is Haruka and his relay teammates decide to hold a training camp and summer camp of the second year students that are at the Iwatabi Swim Club, so they do something to help them out, whilst we still get to catch up with Nagisa, Rei, Makato, and whoever else manages to make it in the particular episode. So not long after that, we move into episode 3, to which we get to catch up with the character of Rin, who we have seen in seasons 1 and also season 2, to which we catch up with him now living in Australia and trains hard every day with swimmers around the world in Sydney, Australia. And I must admit, in this particular time, he does actually encounter a new mentor coach. Even though he's still training under his main coach, he does finally decide to take up training from this other coach, but it's done outside of basically his normal training. And with that, we get to learn a little bit more as to who this particular coach is and who he's actually related to in this swimming world. So moving into episode 4, which is called Interference of Loss, Haruko and Makoto and Asahi visit Shimogami University in hopes of talking to Akuya, but eventually are countered by Akuya's close friend called Tuno, and we get to learn a little bit more about some of the conditions to which Ikuya has been growing up with in his circle, or not just in his circle, but in his actual swimming life. We do eventually learn a little bit more about Ikuya's character, and that in the past he has sort of like suffered like it almost felt like it was trying to bring across a lung collapse of sorts, even though he's not like a smoker or whatever. But he, I guess in a way, it's sort of like set up like a type of asthma for the character is the only way to best describe it. And due to some of these events, it's also taken him into hospital. And yeah, there's been times to which Haru hasn't been there and someone else has had to take his place. Not just Haru, Akuya's brother, as well as Tuno, who has also been there as a bit of a support for him. But he still seeks and dreams to compete as high as possible in the global circuit, especially in the swimming global circuit, because that is one of his dreams and goals, but also to win a race against the character of Haru. So moving into episode 5, which is an ominous workout. In this, we catch up with the Iwatabi Swim Club, and whilst they are in a bit of a joint camp with the Semazuka, I think I might have said that incorrectly, in relation to sort of like the other school that they have also participated with, and it was at the other school to which Rin was also at and participated, whilst Haru and Fingo were at the Iwatabi school. We do learn a little bit more as to what's happening in this particular camp. We still get Nagisa, who is still playing a big part in keeping everyone together in this particular storyline, considering how much he's played a big part in the actual story itself. So jumping into episode 6, it's called The Mermaid of the Abyss, to which it focuses on Tuno Hiyori, who still remembers his first time when he actually met with Akuya, and it gives us a bit of a history as how both of these characters grew stronger in their swimming profession, and we also learn of their reasons and styles. And I think it's in this episode that we also have no, it might be one of the later episodes, to which we have a bit of a swimming competition between Haru and Ikuya, and we get to see and give not Haru and Ikuya, Haru and Tuno, because Tuno learns a bit from Akuya about Haru's swimming style and how it sort of like has played an influence by people that he has swum with. And of course he's trying to sort of like, I guess, play the victim card in a way, or play a white knight card of sorts in trying to protect Akuya from others. Even though Akuya never really asked it of him, he still does it anyway. Jumping into episode 7, it's called A Solitary Medley. With the college championships approaching, all the swimmers are training hard on their own in order to sort of like get as far as they can, and maybe even compete into the nationals or the Japanese nationals, which would eventually lead into going into the Olympics. And in this particular thing, we have also learnt that whilst this is occurring, Haru has also ended up meeting up with another swimmer, just as Rin has. And he also learns that this particular swimmer, who's sort of like a little bit further ahead than him in his lifetime, has actually gone a little bit further in his own performance and can practically outswim him. But it's still not stopping him from pushing to achieve to get his goal. Moving into Metamorphosis of the Soul, which is episode 8. after the breakup of the middle school swim team, Akuya has decided to get stronger on his own. So with this occurring, we see that there's been a bit of a kerfuffle, or I guess a bit of a fight between Tuno and Akuya. And with Akuya, he's sort of like basically seen what Tuno has sort of like been doing behind his back. We do get to see that he is actually quite upset with what he has done. And I like how well that is actually brought across in the story. But does it stop him from like being friends with him? And we learn that, okay, not so much. He will still like continue to be friends with him. And I like how well that is shown sort of like in later episodes. Moving into episode 8, which is Metamorphosis of the Soul. After the... hold on, did I just cover that? No, I need to move into episode 9, to which it is Interval in the Evening Calm. Haruka's race is next, is the All Japan Invitational, to which the Invitational plays a big part in them leading to sort of like competing in national to international Olympics. And this will determine who gets in and who gets out. Of course, you get to see how their coaches are playing a big part in the story, and also who else is there behind the scenes, from Nagisa, Rei, also Makato. We also have Asahi. We still see Notori and some of the others that do make a return. And it's really good to see how this story draws out, along with not only the story, but also the progression of the characters. As we jump into episode 10, it's called The Grab Start of Hope. Makato has been able to get in touch with Haruka following a friendly race at his training center, to which we learn that he actually gets his ass basically kicked against someone by the name of Albert. And with this, we see how far he's sort of like fallen behind in his own natural swimming abilities, but he still continues to pursue his dream to becoming the best of the best in regards to his swimming career. But whilst in this event, his new coach tries to give him some advice. It doesn't quite go through. So in that, Makato helps Haru understand what his coach is trying to tell him, to which after that it does actually make it much easier for him to understand, because one of the things that he does love is mackerel. So he sort of uses like a food analysis in regards to sort of like trying to make him understand what his current coach is trying to teach him. Moving into some of the other events that take place behind the scenes, we jump into episode 11, which is Streamline of Unity, to which the Iwatobi Swim Club heads to Tokyo for the national tournament that Rei and Nagisa are participating at. Now, one thing that is actually occurring in this particular episode, and I really like that this is actually done here, you get to see both Rin and Haru plan to see the Iwatawi Swim Club along with the Semazuka Swim Club as well, connected to that school, to participate together. And they definitely go to make it on time. They do end up like trying to catch a cab, but in the process they had to stop catching the cab and end up literally running to the pool to where it's being held, and just barely making it on time, to which they actually get to see the members at the Iwatobi Swim Club be able to perform their best at this particular tournament. And they do end up making it on time. They do get the cheer for their fellow club members, and get to see them advance further to where they do. We get to see Nagisa reach second place, where his rival would be Notori ends up getting first. That was really nicely done. We also get to see some of the other participants participate as well, and also learning that, okay, there are still some things that they need to work on to improve. Last but not least, we move into Dive to the Future, to which Nagisa, Ray, and the rest of the Iwatobi Swim Club, now it's time to sort of like change direction, where they came for their support. It's now time for the Iwatobi Swim Club to come and support Haru, Rin, and any of the others for like their next lot of tournaments. And I must admit, the beginning of it was really good, but at the end of this story, it really left things on a cliffhanger, and I'm just left gobsmacked as to why did you do this now? I was really starting to enjoy it, and now you leave it on a cliffhanger. But seeing that that's all 12 episodes, there are some things I need to bring up in relation to some of these episodes. Now, in one of these episodes, we learned that there's actually a teacher or a swim teacher in this that has a connection to Nitori, and we learned that that's his uncle, and how he sort of like plays a bit of a part in regards to Rin swimming whilst he's overseas in Sydney, Australia. Along with that, we end up meeting some other swimmers, say from overseas, one linking to Switzerland, and I think the Tories one is I think it's in Russia. So he's got like a bit of a Russian relative. And it's very interesting, like getting these little nuggets of information within the story, and also how they have also played a part in, I guess, these characters dreaming to become the best of the best swimmers in their own league. So moving into the next thing, and that is my afterthoughts in regards to this particular season. My goodness, this season had a lot of things happening. And when I mean a lot of things happening, one thing that I can sort of be thankful for this season, at least it didn't add too many more new characters, though it sort of felt like at the end it was going to add maybe a couple more new characters. That's not to say that probably won't happen in relation to, say, when I move into the movies in relation to this particular season. Whether that happens or not, I'll worry about it at the time. So the next thing is moving into the rating. Starting off with the main characters. Now, I think some of the main characters that really took play, or the characters that sort of like became the mains in this series. Yes, we still had the original, I guess, 5 characters from season 1. We do somewhat get some supporting characters, such as in Akuga, Asahi. There was also the coaches, to which one is Ryuji. I forget the other one, which was his rival. My goodness. But in the process, we still got to learn of like other members that have played a part in the swimming in this series, including the Tori's uncle. And that was really nice too. Of course, Nagisa is still being sort of like best character in regards to these seasons, because he is like the one character that is sort of like the glue that keeps people together. And that's sort of like one thing that really stands out with this character. Okay, even though he was sort of like put on the sidelines a bit, he still played an important part when it came to other things that happened or occurred in the series. So main characters, I give an 8.5 out of 10. Supporting characters and what we got out of them, probably an 8 out of 10. Next is the animation for this particular season. I think I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Next thing after that is the soundtrack for this season. Now, I think the soundtrack was pretty decent, but I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. It did play its part overall. And moving into last but not least, and that is the story for this season. Now, the fact that this story was left on a cliffhanger, and now I've got some episodes as well as movies and whatever to catch up with, this is going to be very difficult. This might be a little bit difficult to judge or rate. So, looking at the overall story in this season, like catching up with some more fellow members that have played a part in relation to the Iwatobi Swim Club, we do learn that there are sort of like other members that have sort of like gone in and out of the swim club. Along with that, how they sort of connect not only with like the main relay team, but also how they connect with Haru, Makato, maybe even Nagisa. It's just really setting itself in its place. So for the overall season review for this particular story, I give an 8.5 out of 10. Now, I don't know how much it's going to change after I watch through sort of like missing episodes, and that in relation to this season. And that includes some episodes that are close to an hour long, but I'll have to cover them in one video, to which there are also ones that have up to 5 episodes, to which the first episodes are probably close to 3 or 4 episodes long, then followed by an additional 4 episodes. So until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.
Go